which is what we normally use, but we didn't get mud puppies in this year. They couldn't capture enough of them. Mud puppies tend to be wild caught like the sharks. They are starting to raise mud puppies, but not in the quantities we need for laboratories. So this is the mud puppy, Necturus. Most of you will be working with the tiger salamander. This is a juvenile version because unlike the mud puppy that stays in the larval stage as an adult, like most men, these guys will go from an aquatic juvenile stage to a terrestrial adult stage, and so these gills will be lost over time. But you'll notice there's a difference in size here. So these little guys are going to take a bit more effort to skin because they're tiny. If you've had trouble with your rats rolling around on you, this is a lot lighter than a rat. So when we get to the tiger salamanders, you may want to use one of these trays with a black background because this black is wax. And you can stab the little mud puppy in place using our dissecting needles. You can make a little row of needles so he can't roll anywhere. Or you can crucify him if you need to. Whatever holds him in place for you. And that's going to make a big difference in getting some of this work done. All right, even this little guy is going to take some work. Now, this is a male, and we know that because of this structure here. This is his cloacal gland. In a female, they're not large and swollen like this. And the same thing will be true with these tiger salamanders. All right? So here's our little guy. All of the mud puppies are males. So what we're going to have is 2 mud puppy males in here, 1 male tiger salamander, and 3 female tiger salamanders. All right? That way we try to get an even number. Unlike the tiger salamanders, the mud puppies will be opened up. So we can actually see its liver here and a coil of its intestines. So this is what happened after its 21st birthday. We can see over here a little fold. This fold is called the gular fold. When you're skinning, when you get up on this, do not skin from here towards the nose. Once you get here, stop, come to the nose end, and work your way down. Because there are muscles in here that you'll tear up. So you want to be careful about that. You're going to skin between the tip of the snout to the end of the cloaca. You don't need to skin the tail. But you're probably going to start on the tail because it's a great place to practice. Just like the shark, there's really not much of a hypodermis here. Unlike the shark, though, the skin's not as tightly associated. The skin's going to have a rubbery feel. It's going to feel almost like a wetsuit as you're pulling it off the animal. There are areas where you have to be careful. Obviously, you want to save these gills. Be careful with the arms and legs. They're tiny little things. You'll take the skin right down to the wrist and the ankle. But the biggest problem area, even more so than the gular fold, is right here over the shoulders. As you recall from lecture, their shoulder muscles do not attach to skeletal structures like mammals do. So the latissimus dorsi, the dorsalis scapulae, the cucullaris, which again, cucullaris is homologous to trapezius, dorsalis scapulae to the deltoid, they're attaching to the fascia of the epaxial muscles. So if you're not careful skinning it, you'll take those muscles off. They're very, very thin. And then you can take the whole arm off, which would not help your grade. So when you're working around here, be very careful. Look under the skin as you go. Make sure you're not getting any muscle-colored stuff, which will be a yellowish color on these animals. And so I'll show you how to get started. But again, best place to get started is the tail, because if you mess up there, it doesn't matter. So let's grab hold, and it's just rubbery-like, so you should be able to get a nice little pinch to start with. There we go, again, 45-degree angle. And you'll see the muscle here is kind of odd-colored. It's almost a yellowish color, which makes people think of bananas, but I don't know why. Because bananas, the flesh is white. But there we go, there's our muscle. You see there's really not much else there. What's kind of neat on the underside of the skin, you can see the dark pigmentation of the spots on the underside. And you can also see little white things here, especially when we get closer to this tail fin. There's going to be little structures that will appear on the underside of the skin that look like little French onions. And those are mucus glands. So although they're not part of the material, they're kind of neat to see when you get to them. All right. So here we can see a little bit of hypodermis. Supporting the tail fin is this little yellow band. That's just a little bit of fat. But that's about it for hypodermis. You're right on the muscle here, so you gotta be careful. But mud puppies are easier to skin than sharks because you don't have that tight association. Which is why it's really good if you don't have upper body strength.
Which means for mud puppies, you don't have to go as fast, so be careful.
Yeah, there's a lot more muscles on the mud puppy than the shark, so you could screw up. But again, you're just going to continue on. And now you can see, actually, as I'm working on it here, a line. And that line, right here, is the horizontal scalagenous septum. So above it epaxial, below it hypaxial. And as we continue to clean this up, you'll be able to see myosepta and myomeres. So it'll be pretty straightforward. You don't need to skin the whole tail, it's just a good place to practice. All right, so again,